YouTube, what's up? You guys know I'm no stranger to speaking to how I feel when there's an issue that I feel needs to be addressed. I have to do it. If it's in my heart, I have to do it. A lot of people think, misinterpret addressing it as hate or ill feelings towards, but addressing and bringing up issue is love. It means that you love something or people in general so much that you're willing to say like how you honestly feel, and if you feel like you have answers or observations, and you bring it to the table, you bring it to the forefront. I believe that that's very honorable, as opposed to ignoring an issue. I believe when there's an issue within a community, that's observed but not talked about, in certain solutions and things are being withheld from that particular group. I believe that that's not love, because if you love someone, you're gonna tell them, the truth. You're gonna say what you observe, and then from there it could be like conclusions and things that could happen. Before I get started, I want to tell you guys. For those of you that's been, subscribed to my channel, watching my videos, I appreciate it. If this is your first time, thank you for watching my content. Like, comment, and subscribe. Like I said, I'm going to, and also turn on the notification bell. I'm going to talk about a very controversial topic here, and it's a root topic with me. Um, I'm black, African American, as you guys call it. It's my culture. I did grow up poor, and statistics are statistics, and stereotypes are stereotypes, and reality is reality. I made this video because my character, always been a giving person, but I'm realizing that with the way the economy is, I can't give as much as I have, and I'm kind of like looking out for myself now. I've given the kids plenty of times, not only just black kids, to other kids, to kids out the country. I don't put it on social media because it's something that's like honestly from the heart, and I feel like I just don't want to make that content unless it's something that could, tell other people to give, or help drive other people to give to kids and people too. But there's been like something that's been happening to where everywhere I go every day, I've been being asked for money, not just by homeless people, but even like kids that sell candy and everything like that. And another group which I've always given to. I always give whenever I see, like any kid at all, but this is including like black kids. I always give, like, if they're selling candy for like $1 or two, I give them $20, and tell them to keep the candy. And that's always been my character of a person. And there's been like numerous times where I would give the money, and instead of being appreciative for it, or even before I hear a thank you, it'll be like a can you give like 20 more so I could be done for the day? And then it makes me think like I don't I don't want to give handouts, because handout could be crippling. You could if I had handouts growing up, I wouldn't be as prepared for life as I am now. With that said, I believe that I'm prepared for life, but I'm not like on this like balling status. There are people that are on balling status, but me, I just live a regular, like stable life. But in the black community, when a lot of kids see me, when they see my car, um, it's easy to ask me for money, because a lot of, it's just easy. It looks like it's easy to ask me for money, right? And they do every day, whether it's a Walmart, Target, Food for Less, State of Rose, the mall. It's a kid outside selling candy. Most of the time, it's a black kid, and it's okay. But um, they ask for like money for candy, and this is in addition to like every like homeless person that I see, that they immediately ask me for money, right? Um, Now, like I said in the beginning of the video, I've always been a giving person, but I'm realizing that when I interact, because when I interact with black people in regards to that, and I am black, when I interact with black kids in regards to that, and when it's kind of like an entitlement when they see me, like they feel I'm supposed to just give them or support the candy and just give when I see them. It's not in their mind that everywhere I went, I can't give money to every kid that I see, every black kid that I see. Is financially impossible, and I'm not balling like that. But the root problem is being black. It's we have like statistic against us, and the question is, the title of this video is it the system to blame, or is it us to blame, or is it a little bit of, like halfway, or is it one part that plays the bigger part? Is it one part of the system or us that is the reason for us being in the position that we are in now? With that said, I feel that this video is like straight. I have no script on this. I just wanted to come to the park and talk about this because it is my everyday life, and this is every day, bro. This is something that I have been encountering, and today, and not even just today, but today was another one of those days where like one of the kid took it personal and said like, "Oh, you driving that car, and you won't give us a little bit of money like for the candy for our school." And like I said, this kid don't know that if I see like 30 black kids a day and I give $5 a day, so 5 times 30, $150 a day, and then you calculate that everywhere, like that's financially impossible. And I believe that that's a problem um, in the black community because we've been focused so much. I'm saying we, but yeah, so in the black community, we've been focused on so much nonsense for so long, living, and I'm not saying everyone, but I'm saying a huge majority have been focused on the wrong things for so long, judging, um, trying to like show off for so long, have like the best jewelry for so long, while not um, being able to financially like afford it, but just to have it so other people could see and like be impressed. I'm not saying other races don't do this, but I see this happen a lot in the black community. But we've been trying to impress for so long, but not willing to listen and learn and take a chance to understand people that made it out, and also people like us that made it out or that's stable. Instead, a lot of us want to have like that easy like handout or things like that. You know, it's no secret that if you've been watching like the news and everything, I get annoyed when I see in the comments where they always said like, "Oh, it's the usual suspects," but you reach a point where the truth cannot be considered disrespect. So when you see a lot of those videos, it is a lot of like black people going in those phone stores, pulling out phones at T-Mobile and Metro PCS at AT&T, or looting in these stores and these jewelry stores and whatnot. And I say that with no judgment, but I say that with be accountable. But I say that I can't judge because when I was an adolescent, a youth, I used to steal too. I never did it like that, but I used to fight. I used to be ignorant. I used to steal. I used to argue with teachers. I got into a fight every day at school. That was my reputation. But as an adult, you know, um, I seen life a little different. But I feel like um, the black community is just in a confused like state. And don't get me wrong, there's some of us that make it out, but it's something that we're ignoring, and it's the way the economy is now with the war going on, with gas prices going up. What I'm observing, like how these black kids are, like I saw a statistic where like it said black people and like black women especially were losing their job, at at an alarming rate. I don't remember the specific numbers. Maybe in future videos I would elaborate more and give specific numbers. But it makes you think about how like you know that whole and I don't I'm not making this video to disrespect our black women. I have love and respect for every woman, but when it's a if I have love for you, I have to bring my observation to the table, and hopefully you will listen, and hopefully you will learn from it. You know, we could have a dialogue, a respectful dialogue if you disagree, but I'm bringing it to the table to help. That's always been my character. That's why I get my little blessings that I get, because I'm an honest person. I'm a truthful person, and God wired my brain to see 10, 20 years ahead in how I move. So I know how I thought with a sober brain and thought my whole life. I never been under like any influence. So, and I've been around the world. I've been that 1% in my, my field of study. But back to the thing, like, so the black woman losing their job at an alarming rate. Um, it's crazy how there is a lot of black women that I interviewed. I don't want to post the videos because like I'm gonna post respectful videos, but there is a lot of black women that I interviewed or that I heard in conversation or that I heard within my community, whether at family reunions and whatnot, that did say that they didn't need a man. Again, this is not to like attack any black woman. Preferably I love to be with a black woman, but when like life has a crazy way of humbling, and when you don't value people as a whole, when you don't value people, you kind of like get in a situation where you need people. Because now, let's take it away from the black woman subject. Let's talk about these kids. Now, these kids are, to be honest, in a tough situation. Of course, our group, the black group, our history of being enslaved, segregation, redlining, those are all real things. Prejudice things, lynchings. For those of you who don't know what redlining is, the redlining was a thing that happened, I believe, in California, but other parts of the world where black individuals weren't allowed to purchase certain homes. So, of course, you would have to figure that that has some kind of like economic stunt of growth for us now. Um, to what degree? We don't, it's all subjective. Basically, I say all of that to say that there has been bad, a misdoing on our community, and I acknowledge that. A lot of us have not been to therapy. A lot of us probably do need therapy. A lot of us probably deserve a covered therapy as part of a reparation or something like that. But I'm also a big believer, and I'm a big advocate on accountability, because while we do have a lot of those things that contribute to where we are now as a whole, like some of the lowest we have the lowest credit scores amongst group, the lowest income levels amongst groups. Our black women have the highest rate of obesity amongst any group. And I say all of that not to judge, but to say like these are things that affect our life, affect our livelihood, affect how we could give to our children and our grandchildren and whatnot. But we don't yeah, we're not where we need to be on that. Some of us don't take it as serious as we need to take it. And it has led to me seeing a lot of these kids without like fathers in the home, because like we prioritize the the wrong kind of men to procreate with and have kids with. Where these are the typical men that I'm accountable to men too, black men too, where these are the kind of men that made that left and went out and left their homes and didn't pay attention to the kind of women that they choose. So it's kind of like these kids are in a tough position, and I guess you could say I don't want this to sound offensive, but I guess you could say it's kind of like a parental blame. But yeah, just long story short, these kids are in a tough position, and I've been trying to do as much as I can on my own. I've been going out of my way to go to these schools and make sure that these kids are aware of their degree, the financial outcome, um, how much is going to bring them in debt when they're finished with their career, um, how much that degree is going to pay, and whether it's worth it or not. And in addition to that, um, I've been taken away from my time to teach about credit, the importance of it, and also lend a hand. I've been present. I personally don't have kids, so I've been how I get my blessings is I go out in the field and I'm present around them. You know, we're at college, and I'm going to do more work in these high schools, and I do. Try to teach all of that, but the problem is a lot of it's some that's very receptive to it, but it's not an important. A lot of them don't think it's an important thing to listen to, so a lot of times they take it, you know, and it's not just them, but it's a lot of a lot of people. But a lot of people don't take it as serious as it needs to be. And then sometimes I turn into like that creepy guy that's talking about credit, and then now I'm up there looking like Michael Jackson or something. No disrespect to Michael Jackson. I don't think he did anything, but you get the point. But yeah, like it it's crazy because now I'm wondering like, are we already too behind or too lost? And like I said, I do acknowledge like the history of our people and the strain it put on us, but I'm also big on accountability. Like it's behaviors that we have, and it's certain like behaviors such as that spending your hard-earned money um, at a minimum wage job just to get the best car that that you cannot afford, but you get it to look better than the next person. That's the difference between us and other groups. Like other groups, they work together, and us we're so like divided that we even divide amongst each other just to look better. Um, and other behaviors like we're not accountable when we do like criminal things, like such as going in these T-Mobile stores and everything and taking everything, and then expecting no consequences or unaliving somebody because the colors that they have on that look just like them, that look just like us, and then the next day or the next week getting mad at the police for whether the police was right or wrong, getting mad at the police. But let's say the police, some of the police, there are some good and some bad police, but let's say it was a police that unalived somebody that wasn't justified. You have a right to be angry or mad, but where's that same energy when one of us wakes up just to go do the same thing to another person that looked just like one of us? But um, yeah, this has been like the main thing is like that the kid saying that, oh, you got that car, you can't just give us $2 for a candy. And that's the main point and the reason why I make this video. And hopefully all this is like making sense, but it's scary. Me just being honest, it's kind of scary where we are now, and you could put some blame on um, the history, and you could also put some blame on accountability. Um, and with gas prices going up, it doesn't take a psychic to see like it's like a huge shift that's happening in this world. Like a lot of people are losing their job, and nobody wanted to work on themselves so much, or we were too ignorant, or our women, or our people, our kids, or our dads were too worried about the wrong thing to worry about how to survive in this economic world, or develop skills like customer service. This is not to excuse other groups or other race of people or ethnicities that you know but me, I'm black, so I'm just talking to like my black people on this one. We didn't focus on things that were important, and it's kind of like we're in a tough position now where we got kids that are in these schools and just getting a degree because like they're getting a degree because their parents told them to get a degree, but nobody did the history on a degree. I talked to a lot of people that's doing kinesiology. I wish them the best, but what are you going to do with the kinesiology degree? What are you going to do with that psychology degree? What are you going to do with that? Um, that psychology, sociology. Um, there is I don't want to discourage anybody from continuing school because school could be good, but school is also a gamble. But I just feel like even kids, it's kind of like I would get more in trouble because I'll get more canceled and also in trouble because it will look creepy that if you're trying to teach these kids how to make sure that they don't become adults, relying on people buying candy from them and feeling entitled that people got to buy candy from them because they're black. If that makes sense, I try to teach them how to do a more reliable degree and have their credit right and things so they could be self-reliant and produce for themselves and have at least a stable career and outcome on life. But I kind of worry because like I'm wondering, like every every time I see a group of police officers and police cars at a Target, I'm not going to lie. Like I drive a little closer, and it's always the same usual suspects. So the people online are not lying. Like it's people, like it's kind of like every. I get a lot of judgment for talking like this amongst like black people, but when there's so much evidence and when there's so much like media coverage that shows this, it's ignored and people are so quick to cancel or so quick to tell me like who I'm supposed to date or whatnot. When I'm a person that thinks like this and I think about if I ever were to have a kid, I want them to be in a better position than I am, be at least how I am or better. And even when I don't have kids, I try to teach them be at least in a position I'm in or better. Um, but a lot of times, even my own people cancel me or put labels on me. Other races and ethnicities do it too, but at least for my people, they never. Not all, but reasonable people understand me. But a lot of people just don't think about this, man. But yeah, with gas going up, you gotta wonder where do you guys think like this is going to solve? When do you guys think this is going to solve? Do you think that like black people are prepared? Other races are welcome to chime in on this as well. And that brings me to Charlie Kirk. I know everybody has a negative opinion of Charlie Kirk, and I wanted to give sufficient time from the transition from uh, here on earth to spiritual world. I wanted to give sufficient time before I talk about Charlie Kirk online to give respect. Um, Whether I agree with anybody or whether I don't, um, we all are created by like one God. So I can't unless someone personally did something to me. I can't like have so much hate as much as everybody does have. But Charlie Kirk is an interesting topic of discussion because there's a lot of things that he said that were true, such as our kids, our aunties, or we all listen to and want to be like those rappers that talk about calling our daughters, our moms, our aunts the B words and the HOEs and don't love and things like that and unaliving somebody that looks like you over colors. When Charlie Kirk talks about it, um, you know, a lot of people in my community get like really, really mad. But if it's a rapper that does it, that raps about those things I said, are, are my community are the same people that's like nodding their head, yeah, loving the lyrics, trying to imitate it, um, glorifying such things, and yeah, it's just it's kind of it's crazy that we don't think about it. But every once in a while would be a rapper, that 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 does that changes life, that says the exact same thing that Charlie Kirk says. But a lot of people in my community will praise that rapper, and rightfully well, you only praise God, but rightfully so, they'll agree with that rapper. But just because it's a person that doesn't look like them, that's like white, and I don't agree with everything Charlie Kirk says, but one of the most ignorant things you could do is just because you don't agree with 100% or like someone, just because you have those feelings towards that person, one of the biggest stunts you could do to yourself is at least not hear that person. People say the best person, the best place to hide something from a black person is in a book. I would say the best place to hide something from a black person is somebody that they hate, because they're not going to want to listen. We're not going to want to listen. Again, this is not, I'm not saying if I was for or against Charlie Kirk. Um, this is not an attack on my black community. This is a wake up call. If anything that I just said makes sense, if you want to dispute, if you want to have a dialogue, a conversation, if I sound harsh, you could comment. If you want me to keep making educational videos or talk about things like this, comment, like, turn on that notification bell, and also subscribe. I don't want to keep this video too long, but I just want to end it with um, being honest, because honest is the only thing that I could be. It is really time for people that look like me, for black people, to wake up and to listen. Do your research on people. Look at people's lives before you imitate. Look at people's life before you place judgment, and look at your own life before you want to teach, before you want to place judgment. Because if you're doing something wrong, or if you're listening to someone that's doing something wrong, you're going to bring that onto your kids. So if I'm that one person that you listen to, I know it's a lot of people, whether good or bad, that listen to me. That's been my videos have been like hot topics everywhere that I go. But yeah, if I'm that person that you listen to, whether good or bad, I just promise you to always bring you like truth, things the way that I see it, and try to do it in the most comfortable manner. Try to develop relationships with other cultures and everything, so we could have like this dialogue, but also try to bring my culture up to a respectable level. Um, you guys could Google the average black credit score and compare it to other ones. I actually have my other phone, and if you don't mind, I will Google it right now, just so you could see that men lie, women lie, numbers don't, and statistics are objective. This is not my opinion; these are statistics. This is proof that we're not doing good as a society, as a culture, and until we start taking things serious and start listening and start um, listening to people that mean well and stop judging, we're gonna stay in the same position. Me personally, I'm gonna do what I have to do to elevate, and there's no apology for it. And that's with love. And if anybody wants to follow me, I promise to not mislead you. If I'm doing something wrong, I'm going to be honest and say like, "Oh, don't do this." You could listen to the other things that I do, but don't do this. But I promise to always try to lead as best as I can. So we're gonna go to, and you guys could pull your phones out and Google this as well. But we're gonna go to credit scores by race, right? All right, so the average black credit score by race. That is, so it says the black American credits, the median credit score for black Americans is 627. 627. You at least want a 750 credit score, whoever you are. So, these are different studies. So, different studies, it's not going to have the exact same number, but it's going to be around the same, and it's going to have the same like order. Um, So badcredit.org. You always want to listen to .org and .edu, and yeah, .org and .edu. Those are reliable sources. .coms, those are not reliable sources. So by race, right? So black 677 credit score, Hispanic 701, white 734, Asian 745, and other is 732. That's the average credit score by race. The black is the only one that's under 700. Um, let's go to average individual income by race. All right, so let's see. All right, so median household income in the U.S. varies significantly by race. According to 2024 to 2026 data, so Asian households generally have the highest median income, exceeding 110,000, followed by white households. Black and Hispanic households have lower median incomes compared to Asian and white households, with black around 55,000 and Hispanics around 70,000. So black people, we're the lowest on all of these, man. Um, yeah, man, I could go on and on. I will make more videos, but I hope you guys pay attention to this. I'm going to quiz, a lot of students on this, a lot of people that watch it on videos that I said, and you could win like some prizes at the end of the year. So watch the videos thoroughly. Hopefully you learn something. Again, like, comment, and subscribe, and please turn on that notification bell. I don't script these videos. This is straight from the heart. And yeah, I appreciate everything. God bless everybody.